So my name is Karen Cabasso. I am 50 years old and I am British, but I originally come from Zambia in Southern Africa. Yes, I trained as a nurse there and I came here to work as a nurse. I got a job as a nurse and I've been here over 18 years now.
I'm Chinyanta, Karen's daughter. I am British Zambian. I consider myself both. There's so many things I do. So I work as a producer with the Scottish Ballet, content creator, dancer, dance artist.
TED speaker.
Oh, TED speaker now, yes. Soon to be TED speaker, yeah. It's everything creative, a lot of creative things. That's me.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And Glasgow as well. Like,
Yes.
home base, I guess.
Yes, Glasgow, Scotland.
Yeah,
Yes.
so Glasgow, but also in Zambia as well, I imagine. A little
Yeah,
bit.
Zambia, Kalulushi is our main town where we came from. It's a small town. It's not a big town. It's a small town.
There's one
But that's
hotel.
where we lived all our years before we moved over here. They were born there. They went to school there until we moved to. We first moved to England actually, and then we stayed there for 6 months. They did a bit of schooling in England, and then I decided that I was going to move up north, and I moved over to Scotland.
For the wonderful weather.
That's what most people were discouraging me from, like, you can't move up to Scotland. It's very cold and it's very far. I said, far from where? I came from Africa. Africa is very far. So, I mean, I've traveled, so it's not far for me. I mean, it might be cold, but well, let me just go. I just need to move. I just wanted a change. I don't know why. For some reason, I just got a dislike of England. I don't know. Yeah.
What's your favorite meal to eat, but also maybe to cook if you enjoy cooking?
Yeah, so I like chicken and I like to cook it. I can cook it in many different ways, spice it up. And then I like nshima. So nshima is our staple food. Yeah, so we make it from maize meal. Yeah, so when it's finished, it comes out as looks like mash, potato mash.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like that. Yeah, it's kind of tasteless, but then when you eat it with a sauce, it's very nice. So you make the chicken, some vegetables, any kind of vegetables. We can do cabbage, we can do the greeny leafy vegetables,
Yes.
and then with the nshima on the side. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
it sounds like a comfort food.
It's
Very much.
very filling as well.
Yeah,
you,
once
you
you-
wouldn't need a dessert after this.
It's
No.
probably like deceivingly filling as well. Yeah. I
Yeah.
find that with pounded yam.
Yeah,
It's-
exactly.
it's-
It's almost the same.
Almost the same as
Yeah.
pounded jam. Like
Yeah.
once you eat it, you can't, now you need a nap. You can't, there's no going back to work.
Oh, yeah, okay. And what about you, Chinyanta?
I can't, I feel that's so hard. Oh, yeah, I love nshima as well, especially with fish and vegetables. Brim fish. I think that's the Zambia name. I don't know what the UK name is, but brim fish. But then I also love because we've come into the diaspora, then I found chapati, I found kachumbari, I found so many new things. So I think my favorite meal is when everyone comes together and then you have a plate of different things.
Everything.
Yeah.
How does money make you feel?
Well,
Big question.
yes, it is a big question. But obviously, I can say, who doesn't love money anyway? Everyone, I mean, that's why we hustle, because we want to make money, isn't it? Everyone is hustling and trying to, to just get something for themselves, make money. So I would say it's obviously, it's not the ultimate thing that can make me really happy, but I feel comforted when I know that I can pay my bills and then my money is not going to finish. At least something will be left there. I don't like to see my bank statement in negatives, or getting texts like from the bank. I was like, oh, tomorrow, there's direct debit going out, and you need to look for some money somewhere. I don't like that. I would work flat out to just make me have something extra in my bank account. So I've got my money should be my best friend as well.
Yeah. And a bit of a personal question, so feel free to not answer if you feel comfortable. Did money have anything to do with your decision to immigrate to England?
Exactly. That was the biggest, because in my country, nurses are civil servants in the civil service, and we were mostly the lowest paid. My husband used to get a lot of money, but I used to get very little, so my money was even inconsiderate. It's like something you didn't even look at. So when there was this opportunity that we could, come over to the UK and work as a nurse, and then when you look at the money, and then you try to you try to see how much it is in our currency. It's like, oh my gosh, this is so, like, you'd be like, I would be a millionaire in a month.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And then I was like, no, I'm gonna go. So when people started moving, my friends came over, I started applying as well, we got the job. But then when you come here, it's not the reality, because you've got bills, and then you don't realize that just a house would be 3 times your salary if you were back home. Because you're trying to think that the way life is there, where you're living at the moment, for instance, in Africa, I'm in Zambia, I pay, for a house, I pay maybe 5,000 kwacha, which is like, for instance, 300 pounds if it was in pounds. And then you're thinking you're going to be paying for the same house when you go to the UK, but the same kind of house, which you are paying for that amount here, would be something like 1,000 pounds. Because this is a 3-bedroomed house, this is a 4-bedroomed house. So then you realize that after all, yes, you're going to work, get this money, but it's all gonna go to bills. You have to pay house rent, you have to pay council tax, you have to pay literally for everything. By the end of the day, you don't remain with much. Because I was thinking, yes, I'll go and work, and then I'll send money back home, and I'm gonna build mansions. Because when I was looking at that man, I was like, I can build a mansion here. I can, yes. So yeah. So that was part of the thing that made me move. And then obviously apart from that, education in our country, to give your children a better education, is very expensive as well. So you see this as an opportunity for your children to get something better, to get a better education. Because everyone, when your children are progressing as they go to higher school, now you start to think of universities. All you want to do is work hard and make money and think maybe we can send them abroad, which is very expensive. Yes, you would, but then you'll be struggling. So you'll be working hard. All the hard work, all the money is going to be paying for your children. But then we saw this as an opportunity as well, because here, I mean, you don't spend so much on the education. The government helps you, they give bursaries, and your children just go. They come and pay it back afterwards, but it's obviously not, not very noticeable as well. It's in small amounts, so that's the thing as well, yeah.
I think money is important. It allows you to live the kind of way you want to, make better decisions, have independence over your life, not to be controlled by someone else. Like, having your own money allows you to have control over what you want to do, and understanding how money works as well. For me, money it's important. It's important.
What would you say is your first memory of money?
Okay, I can't say my first memory, but I think there's some maybe specific memories that I do remember. like my first year of university, I hadn't had a job before, and I was going to uni on like a student loan, and I didn't borrow money, no. So there was a lot of budgeting involved. I tried to do a little bit of work with the university where I could. And then at the end of the year, when first year was finished, I remember that I checked my bank account and I had £150. And to me, I was like, wow, I have a lot of money. And that was all I had to my name, at the time. But for me, that was like, wow, like for me to have money left over at the end of the year, because I hadn't had a job before that. And I wasn't getting any money apart from that. And then I was managing my money, buying my own food. I still managed to go and be social. So to have £150 left over, I remember I was really happy, and I even bought myself a pair of shoes for £40. So yeah, I remember that. And obviously now, if I had £150, I'd be like, oh, something needs to happen. But at that time, my perspective was like, that was a lot of money, because I managed to save that at the end of the year without asking from anyone.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you, Karen, your first memory of money?
Yeah, so obviously growing up, my parents never really used to give us money. They tried to teach us, to make ends meet with what was in the house. For instance, they would never get like pocket money to go and buy food from the tuck shop or anything. We used to cook food at home and pack for lunch for school. You'd have a little small change, but that's just maybe for sweets and other things. But I remember when I was going to college, and my parents had a very tight budget. We were so many of us. So my mom was just trying to see how she could help me, just go and look presentable when I go to college. So for the first time, I was given money to go and buy clothes for myself. But then, of course, it's not like I had a luxury to go and buy clothes from, for instance, a boutique in town or somewhere. No, we had to go to the second-hand clothes, and the second-hand clothes, it's not like it's in a shop, it's an open market. So you have to go through the stands to try and pick what you can pick. You pick a beautiful skirt, you have to find a matching top. You go here, you find this and you get that. And it wasn't a lot of money, but I managed to get something for myself, which I took with me to college, and I was happy with it even when I went and wore it, for instance, over the weekends when we're going for functions and, everything else, yeah.
So, do you have any opinions on how Chinyanta manages her money, or
well,
something you've done? Oh gosh, we've opened the can of worms.
I would say, okay, yes, she's very good with managing her own money. Yeah, like for instance, honestly, I can't say she really bothered us when she was in uni to ask for money. The only money that maybe I had helped her with was school trips. For instance, maybe when we were going to New York, remember? You had a trip to New York.
That was in high school.
Yeah, that was in high school.
Yeah.
So that's the only money I can say I had to save up, really, so that she could go for a trip to New York. But when she went to uni, she just survived on her own. She used to pay her rent. She would never come back to say, I'm running short, I need this and I need that. But then again, she's kind of a bit strict. She's not a spender. She doesn't spend so much, no. See, even when I used to take her to buy clothes, for instance, there would be sales, and I take her to Debenhams, okay? And then I'll be like, buy this, and then she'll look at it. No, this is very expensive. They need to reduce it. I'm thinking, goodness gracious, I am paying. No, she won't take it, honestly. And then she'll be like, no, we can find something else which is cheap. I can't buy this is very expensive. So that's one part of her. So sometimes then you know, okay, then she's not somebody who's just gonna go and want to buy designer things which are very expensive and so on and so forth. She's kind of very smart on how she wants to spend. But then again, you get money from her. Oh my gosh, she'll be after you. Ma'am, my 50 pounds. Ma'am, I'm thinking, goodness gracious, I'm your mom. You could even just say, oh, ma'am, it's all right. You can just have it. Not Chinyanta.
No, mom, that's not true. That's not true.
Tell me.
No, that's not true. No,
Okay.
I've only recently, because I realized that I was letting a lot of people get away with borrowing money.
Uh-huh.
But before that, it was fine. Yeah. Sometimes I filled up the car, I didn't ask you, and then you've been using it.
Okay, just recently, but going back, she's improved a bit. Yeah, she's improved a bit. Because before you could even ask her and say, you live in our house, you don't pay rent, you don't do this. Can you just even go and buy some eggs? You know, you eat the eggs in the house.
Yes.
But recently, you can just see her when she's just got in a good mood that day. She'll go and buy food. Then she'll come and make a meal, and then she'll buy the extra things. So I'll just say maybe it's the growing up now. That's, yeah.
Generosity comes with age.
Yes.
What was that about, do you think, Chinyanta, when you, I don't know if you still are like this kind of, no, there could be a better price. What do you think that was about?
I'm not sure where it came from, but probably came from you and Dad. I think because like we don't spend apart from Lisa, my older sister, we don't spend like a lot of money on anything. So I've never had an interest in. I've never seen people buying things just because it's there. So yeah, I try to be a bit strict with how I buy things. If something's not necessary, then I don't think I should buy it. And then again, with being at university and only working during summer, then you don't know if you're not sure. You don't have a regular source of money coming in. So if you spend everything now, you don't know if you're going to then have money, and there's summer trips to go on, and would I rather have this or have money left over to go? Everyone's going to Greece. I also want to go to Greece. So I would rather not spend a lot of money on something, but I would spend money on something I think is properly valuable.
Yes.
But clothes, I don't think I've ever. No.
So more a matter of priorities.
Yeah.
And what you actually value.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you say that Brits and their attitude towards money, or their cultural view of money, is very different from Zambians? Culturally, I suppose. Yeah.
I would say, yeah, there's a bit of a difference, but then I think the reason is that here you cannot live without money, I suppose, and a lot of things that you need to do will have a cap on what would be the minimum. You cannot go beyond that minimum. It's just how the life is set up in this country. Where I come from, you can have a backyard garden. You can put up a borehole, and then you wouldn't need to pay water to water authorities.
Yeah.
You could
You can grow tomatoes.
Yeah, that's the backyard garden. You could grow tomatoes, vegetables, and you won't need to be going to, to the shops to buy. You can just go and buy solar, put on top of your roof, and then you won't have to pay electricity. Whereas here, even to do those things, for instance, to just have solar, it's very, very expensive because you need to deal with companies who come and want to do this for you. But for us, it's just something you can just get up yourself, just go and get advice, you buy, you just get somebody or yourself even, they can just show you how you come and put them up, connect, and that's you get going, you're not going to be paying electricity. Or you can go and even live in the village. The village is even the cheapest place. If, for instance, you don't have a job in the town, you could move, go just live on a little farm. You just need a small house which can be very easy to build with mud, thatched, a borehole for water, a garden. You don't need electricity, you can use lanterns, and that's simple life. But here, you can't get it that way. Where are you going to do that? There's no alternative to living where you are. You say, no, I can go somewhere where I won't be able to pay electricity, where I won't be able, for instance, to pay for water, or maybe I'll go and, just have a backyard garden and you can grow things throughout. Here, even the growing is seasonal. You can only grow at a certain time and that's it. So
there's a price tag for everything.
Exactly.
Everything. Yeah. I think you're also talking about the funeral.
Yeah, even for instance, if I had a funeral back home, I could just have it the cheapest way I could, because I would just get somebody who's got for instance, a carpenter who can just make us a quick coffin cheaper, hire a vehicle, get a few, maybe another small bus. We go and bury. But here you need the funeral directors, you need this, and it's always just starting from a certain amount. So you need to have that money for you to be, and that's why obviously I think they encourage a lot of making insurance policies, because otherwise you can't afford. But for us, we can live without insurance policies, because when a funeral comes, you just make do with what you have, and that's it. Yeah.
Would you agree, Chinyanta, like the mindset, or the British mindset and Zambian mindset towards money is different?
Yeah, but I mean that's such a complicated question because there's also different generations as well. But yeah, the mindset is different, because I think with like the British, like money is central to everything. You can't live without money, and they also have small families, so you then everything depends on money, and then your kids are dependent on you. So for the British as well, who know a lot about money, then they've set up those things for their children. Whereas I think in African communities, we have big families, and it's like everyone kind of helps each other and contributes, and you might not even necessarily be able to put aside a lot of money for one child because you actually support a lot of people. So your money is about helping a lot of people, whereas I think in the British, it's about yourself and your immediate family. Yeah.
Is there an image or an object or something that embodies your feelings or your thoughts about money?
I was convinced to buy these pots, cooking pots.
Oh gosh, okay.
Okay, so these pots, they call them like magic pots. Yeah, they are called, what's the name again?
Salad master.
Salad master.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so people would go around, the people who were marketing these pots would go around homes to kind of show you how these pots work. So they said these pots are made from stainless steel. okay? And then they have various coatings, very expensive pots. So the first person who did a demo, a cooking demo, I says, I don't think I can buy a pot for this. It was thousands of pounds. So I refused the first time. And then at that time, I think my husband was not around. Then the next time, another person came to do a demo with the pots. She was very good at trying to sell the pots. And my husband was there. So you could literally put chicken without, you know, the way we cook in Africa, we fry a lot of things, isn't it? Like many other cultures, like the Indians and so on. So they say you don't have to use cooking oil. You get the chicken, you put, it's, this one is electrical, so you can plug it in, you know, and then you put the chicken, the oil will come out of the chicken, and then you can turn it, and then you can actually take the oil out. So that is even very healthy for you. And then you just put now the spices that you need to put, and then you eat it like this. They tried to get an aluminium pot, and they get this stainless pot, and then they put bicarbonate of soda. So you can see the reactions between the two pots. So you can see how the bicarbonate of soda has reacted in aluminium. So they are saying it's taking out the coating, and sometimes this is what we put in our bodies. Maybe that's what is even bringing cancer to us. These pots are bruised. And my husband was convinced, and he got these pots. They were about £5,000. A set of 3 with the electrical one, and with something that you could just use to make, you know, like it cuts up salad bits. See, when I look at them, my heart sinks. What did we do? Yes. So that. Yeah.
So that is the embodiment
Yes.
of a poor decision.
Yes. Yes.
What about you?
It was an MLM.
It was not. It was.
It was an MLM, like, you
Of
know,
course.
marketing,
Yeah.
fantastic, like super products that are just normal
It really
products.
spoke to your father, evidently. Your mom's still upset about this. What about you?
Maybe not a specific image or an object, but I can say some of the. So yeah, like the Debenhams thing. Before I buy something, I actually research it like a lot, and it doesn't matter doesn't matter what it is. I spend time researching it, and that includes the internet, YouTube reviews, then Reddit for real reviews, and then, you know, I'll really go through it until I'm convinced that this is the best thing to buy, and then I'll buy it, because I like things that I'm not gonna have to replace again for a long time. So for me, some of the things that I have, like maybe my MacBook, which I use a lot. I've had a North Face jacket that's in perfect condition for the last 5 years. So things like those objects that have held their time, I'm like, oh, this is my money still working. Like, I used it once and then I didn't have to replace those things again. So those objects.
I actually want to go a bit off piece because we didn't capture that conversation, but I wonder if you could tell us a bit about what you know Circles as. So we were discussing earlier what you call it in Zambia, how you came across it, and if you've come across it, if you've been in one since here in the UK.
Yeah, so like I said, in Zambia, they call it Chilimba.
What does Ichilimba translate to? Isn't it?
Ichilimba.
Is it a plate?
It's actually it's supposed to be a radio.
Oh yeah, it is.
But then I don't know why they gave it that name, honestly. Yeah. So then what would happen is you come up with maybe people you can trust. So it was like I get a friend of mine, and then this friend knows somebody they trust. So you need trusted people, because you don't want somebody when they get their share and they run away before they can give others, or they start to default, they can't put in their monies. So you need to bring people who are trusted. So even when you're introducing somebody, you really need to be sure that this person will be trusted, because they're going to be making their contributions, and then they'll get their money. So you would just ask anyone to choose where they want to get their money. So do you want to be the first one? You know, some people would always want to be the first one, of course, because you're just starting. Then if you're putting maybe 300, for instance, £300 each. So if you're 6 of you, that person first is the one to get the 1,800 pounds. And then somebody will be second, and then somebody will be last. So when you get to the last person, some people would want to say again who wants to be first, but in other groups they'll just go back to the first one again, and then it just continues like that. Yeah, so I have been in some in this country, yes. Even at the moment,
Oh, really?
Yes, I am in one. So it kind of helps, because see, if you don't take that money and make a contribution, something would come up and you end using it up. But then as you are getting committed and contributing, so you have a bank account, somebody's bank account where you're putting, so this month you all put in. And when you have something big you need to do, for instance, the way we are saying, sometimes we help out a lot at home, somebody wants some help with school fees, or maybe you want to help your parents, maybe they want to put up something, or it's the time they are doing their farming, they need fertilizer. So when you get that lump sum, it really helps. You send it and then you forget, and then you just start, putting back in to help somebody else.
Have you ever been in one?
Yeah, I have actually. I've been in 2.
You're laughing. Something happened.
No, nothing bad happened, but I was in one actually with my dad and my older sister. But I just found the system so confusing, because the amount, I don't know what system dad set up, but he said each month it went up by £1. So one month you pay 101, and then the next 102, and then 103. And it started confusing me, because I didn't really, I wasn't like following.
No, I think the thing that, see, when it started up, we started it as a family.
Yeah.
So he had said something can come up and you could use this money. So at first, we were making the contribution and then giving to whoever is next. But then we had to stop that, so because we just wanted to be accumulating that money. But then he said whoever needs to do something can borrow. For instance, if somebody needs to buy a house and they need a bit of money topping up for their mortgage, you could borrow. So it was just money which was just going to be sitting instead of circulating, just waiting for somebody to come and borrow it. So that was the part where, that one was slightly different. So maybe
that was confusing for your dad.
Yeah, because she stopped contributing. She never.
Like, no,
No, I just found it. No, with the Chilimba, I just found it. I don't know. I just found it. Following it was. I don't know. For me, like checking WhatsApp and seeing like who's next. I just And then I was in another one with my sister again, her friend and her friend's husband. And again, that system was, because the friend and the husband were contributing at the same time, so then we'd jump 2 months and then go another month. And it was just, I don't know, I just found it like a bit of effort to keep track of. But then maybe because my expenses are quite low, so it's not like I necessarily would ever really need the extra money at the end of the month, but I found keeping track of it just like bother. So
What does wealth mean to you?
It's very difficult to measure wealth. I know we hear of people who are very rich, like Bill Gates. We have footballers, they are rich. when I think of the money that those people get, I can't even comprehend. Sometimes I sit down, if I was the one getting that amount of money every week, what would I even do with that money?
Yeah.
You know, my brain can't even try to, you know, like think and say, I would be in this position, I would be, I don't know. But then again, I look at myself and I say, would I get anywhere near to some rich people? And then I say to myself, I don't think so. Because what is it that I would do? But you never know, you could. But for me, being wealthy is having enough money to sustain me every day. As long as I know that I'll be able, I can afford to drive a car, okay? It shouldn't be an expensive car, just a good, nice car. If I could afford to buy an expensive car, for instance, a Range Rover, well, good enough for me. But then I get just these SUVs, X-Trail, Nissan something. I'm good with that. I can pay my rent. I've got a house which is in a good area. It's not very big. Yes, I would dream to have a very spacious house, but obviously for here, then you need to have so much money to get such kind of houses. So I have something that somebody can come and tell me, oh, Karen, you've got a beautiful house. At least there's somebody who's telling me that I've got a beautiful house.
Yes.
So at least then I feel happy for myself. I say, oh, thank God, I have something good as well. And like I said from the beginning, to see my bank account running to negative, it stresses me. It really does stress me.
Yeah.
So as long as I have enough money, if I want to get up and say, I'm going to buy something, and then I can go and buy that thing and bring it in the house. And I can go to sleep not worrying that I don't have money to pay for electricity, I don't have money to pay for this, then I'm not wealthy.
I think for me, I think wealth is freedom, and just having the freedom it's when your money doesn't control you, and your money is just, your money allows you to do what you want, not your money controlling what you have to do. So if you consider yourself wealthy, then you're able to take a break from working if you want, change career if you want, support someone if you want, go and visit someone if you want, buy something if you want it, and again, that's if you want it. And then again, for the next generation, it means it also doesn't control their decisions. They can then come and they don't have to think, I have to do this because we need money, and say, actually I can, like those trust fund kids who can afford to study art and not think about what that means for their family. They can just say, I'm going to study art, and it doesn't matter if I don't have a job for 5 years because the family is wealthy, or it means like, your money doesn't control you, but your money just allows you to do what you want to do.